everybody. We are here with Elizabeth Miller and Karen Flynt from the Parenting Path today to talk to you a little bit about what their amazing organization does and all the things that they've done since we've had all of these changes implemented from COVID-19. So, Elizabeth, Karen, I'll turn it over to you all. Do you mind giving everybody a breakdown of, what you all are and the purpose that you serve in our community?
Sure. So the Parenting Path was founded in 1981 as a response to concerns about increasing levels of child abuse and neglect in Forsyth County. And so we started with one program, and since then we have expanded. We now actually have 11 different programs and services that we offer to the community. We work with families, parents, parent figures, fathers, children, aunts, uncles, anyone who would like assistance with working with children. We really believe that parenting is something that's hard for everybody. And so we want to make sure that parents know that it's normal to ask for help. So most of our programs really center on normalizing the idea that it's okay to ask for help and knowing that being a parent is probably one of the toughest things that you can do.
Absolutely. One of the things, United Way does work with a lot of different agencies in the community, but this one in particular, when I learned about you all, and I think the first time I saw you do a presentation was maybe at Berkshire Hathaway. And as a mother of two young kids, I felt particularly drawn to you all and your mission and the things that, you just do such amazing work. And as if anybody knows anything about the United Way, they know now that we fund programs. Would you mind giving a little bit of information about the programs that United Way helps fund at Parenting Path?
Sure. I'll talk about one of the programs, and then I'm actually going to let Karen talk about the other. One of the things that the United Way provides funding for us in terms of programming is Stay Safe, which is actually a clinical services program. And Stay Safe provides therapy for both victims of sexual abuse and also juvenile offenders for sexual abuse. And one of the things that we remind people is that there are a lot of children who are abuse reactive, which means they're acting out the things on other children which they've seen someone do to them. And so we actually provide therapy for them and for their families. And then the other thing that the United Way provides funding for is our parent support program. And Karen Flynt is our director of parent support. And so I'm going to let her talk a little bit more both about Welcome Baby and Parent Aid, which are under our parent support program.
Yes, our Welcome Baby program is actually a program that started a few years after the agency began. And that was because the executive board at that time was looking at the instances of child abuse and neglect in the community. And they decided, is there something that we can do? And they already had the Parent Aid program, and I'll talk about that after talking about Welcome Baby. And they looked and said, is there something that we can do to help prevent or decrease the instances of child abuse and neglect in the community before they get started? So they looked at actually meeting parents in the hospital before they had their babies or right after they had their babies, connecting with those families, and then following up with them and providing support through home visits, telephone calls, and so forth. And so what we do with Welcome Baby, we continue connecting with those families through Family Connects at the hospital, but also through the health department, some mental health agencies, and some other resources here in the community. And we connect with those mothers and fathers and other family members in the home, providing them with child development information and support and resources. Support and information on child development is extremely important for our families, because understanding how your child is developing and understand their behavior is actually really, really great to understand and decrease some of the distress and anger that families may experience because of their child's behavior. For example, I had a mom who complained about her 18-month-old tearing up all of her mail and paperwork. And so I said, where is the paperwork and mail? Well, I leave it on the couch, but she knows she shouldn't touch it. Well, one of the I guess I could say, words that you can use for a toddler is they love to ransack. They love to destroy. That's just their nature. They don't know how to have any type of morality when it comes to pulling out pots and pans and clothes out of the basket. You can put them in the basket, they'll go right behind you and pull them and throw them all on the floor. Tearing up paper, that's just how they are. Getting parents to understand that that's just that normal behavior, and that this is a way we can combat that. Put your mail up, because your child's nature is to just explore, put things in their mouths. So when we do that and we talk to parents about crying, that crying is very normal for babies. Babies don't know how to tell you that they're hungry or that they're sleepy. Their only way of communicating is crying. And when you explain that to parents and show them and give them tools to soothe their baby and address their child's needs, it makes it easier for the family, and then also makes that child safe. So we work with families up to 6 months after birth in the home. And then we have a parent aid program. Now, parent aid is our program where we work with families of children 0 to 17. That's a weekly home visitation. Welcome Baby is every other week. Parent aid is weekly, and parent aid is of a more intensive home visitation. Usually, our referrals for that program come from mental health resources and primarily DSS. We do have families that call in and ask for this program because they feel stressed. They may have had a new baby, other children, or having problems with their children going to school, just different things that they're experiencing. With that particular program, our parent aides work closely with the family, doing the same thing, working with them on understanding their child's development, that's 0 to 17, also giving them resources and just providing that support for those families. These two services are free. We do not charge for those, and thank you for your support.
One of the
Yes.
best articles I ever read about toddler development, like in studying child development and working with children, was saying that the way toddlers act, they are being scientists because they are basically conducting experiments all day long. Like, what happens when I drop this cup? Oh, my mom picks it up. Okay, now what happens this time when I drop this cup? Oh, my mom picks it up again. But literally, the things that they're doing, because they don't understand how the world functions, they're trying to make sense of the world. And so every time they do something like pull all of the clothes out of the hamper that you've just put back in, they're trying to figure out, like, what is the cause and effect here. And so they literally, that's how they figure out how the world works, by doing those things. And so it's not they're trying to annoy you, they're trying to conduct little science experiments.
Absolutely. No, I mean, how long does that go on? Because I'm pretty sure my 8 and 10-year-olds still do some of those things. How much can I do that mommy will pick up? Uh,
I think
but
sometimes our kids revert back.
so all in all, I mean, again, you all, the work that you do is absolutely amazing. I cannot say it enough. How have you all pivoted in this time to continue helping the community with all of the information and assistance that you have to provide?
So our amazing staff immediately just jumped together and said, here's what we think we can do. So we contacted, before we closed as an agency and sent everybody to work from home, all of our different programs got together. They went through all of their client lists. They split them up. They called them to find out what their internet situation was, if they had a phone that was internet enabled. If they didn't have those things, they assisted them in getting those things. They went through and looked at the goal plans for each family, because one of the things that we do as soon as we start working with the family is we meet with them and talk about what their goals are for their families, because that's one of the things we think that's really important, is for the families to have buy-in and also to have input on what their goals are. We want to make sure that the families understand that we are working with them and not doing things for them or to them. And so they looked at those goal plans. They figured out what things the families might need at home. They immediately started assembling packets of information to put in the mail so that the families would have things in hand to look at when we were working with them. And so since then, we've been conducting virtual home visits, either using secure Skype or using WebEx. And those families now have internet capable phones and also have that internet service so that they're able to do those things by phone. And I'll let Karen talk a little bit about some of what they're doing, and honestly, it's worked better than I thought it was going to. I was really nervous about it, but I think our families view us as part of their team. And so they want us still to communicate with them because they want to feel like they still have that support of their team.
Yes, and we're actually able to continue providing that support to our families via text, phone call. I actually talked to one of my staff this morning before I got on this call, and he said, I have worked so hard. He said, I'm working harder than I normally would because the parents are really relying on our staff because they've established a rapport with the families and they rely on them for information. So, there's so much out there on Facebook, etc. And so sometimes they really turn to our staff to make sure that the information that they're seeing or hearing is correct. They also talking to them about their frustrations, things that they can do. We had one mom that the staff told me that she was having problems because her extended family kept coming to her house, and she was concerned about her children becoming sick, her and her children becoming sick. So she wanted to know if it was okay or if it was mean or rude for her to tell her sister and her children that they can't come over. And so the staff was able to reassure her that no, that's fine. You're not being mean. Actually, you're looking out for your children, yourself, and your sister and her children, and it's okay. So then she said, okay. She decided to go ahead and make sure that she told them to not come over. We're using different types of virtual um, uh, apps that we're using, which is the Zoom and the Hangout, Duo. Trying to remember all of them, and Elizabeth did mention a few of them also. They're working really, really well. There are some times when families forget that they're talking to us and they may sit the phone down and we may be looking at a ceiling or something while they're taking care of the kids, and then they'll come back and pick it up. So that, getting used to that and understanding that that's life, understanding to be patient with the families. But it's been a lot of fun. A lot of good feedback that we're getting because of the way we're doing it. And I've attended several webinars here in the last few weeks. I'm finding that and I don't want to brag about us, and I was telling Elizabeth about this earlier, we are way ahead of the game when it comes to serving our families who need the help. We are really, I think we are on the top. Elizabeth, can I say that?
I
Okay.
think you can say that, Karen. Yeah. Well, and I will say, we worked really hard with the board to come up with the plan, and we thought we had a good plan, and we rolled it out to the staff. And because our staff is so knowledgeable and have so much experience and that they care and love so much for their families, they immediately were like, we also should do this and this and this and this, and that'll make it stronger. And so the plan that we had really was enhanced by our staff's knowledge. And I think we have had a couple agencies come to us and ask us if they could use our plan as their plan. And I'm like, sure, yeah, that's fine. Like, take it, run with it. But like our Eve, who's our LCSW, was like, what do we do about consent forms? I'm like, I hadn't even thought about that. And so we are mailing consent forms out to clients with a self-addressed stamped envelope in them, and they can mail them back to us. And then in the file, we make a notation, that they've received it, but we actually are using the U.S. Postal Service to get stuff out to clients.
That's awesome, y'all. That's fantastic. Again, I would expect nothing less from you. Nothing less at all. All right. So this next part, I'm gonna phrase it in a way, and if you don't like it, we can come back and start it over. So with all of this information that you've shared with us so far, I mentioned I'm at home with my husband and our 8 and our 10-year-old, and we're all home together all day, every day with 2 dogs. None of us are used to it. It's been an adjustment. I think we've been able to adjust a little bit easier than some people out there, but that doesn't go without saying. There's definitely days where I feel that frustration and I feel like I'm not doing my best job as a parent. There's days where I'm like, why can you not get that math problem? What am I doing wrong? What are some tips, some advice that you all can give to any parent out there going through this right now, as part of a routine that's never been part of their routine before. Parents who are now teachers who never had any intention of teaching anything other than potty training and bike riding. What are some things that we can do to help make this environment more adaptable for us and our children?
Well, Logan, what I first want to say is I did have some things that I had put together. And the first, parents need to recognize their feelings and the fact that their feelings are normal. So, some of the feelings that parents and children may be experiencing may be anxiety and fear. This is the first time we've been through this. So, you're unsure, you don't know what's happening. You're fearful, not only for your safety and health, but also for the safety and health of your children. But then children are also exposed to the media and hear about the pandemic. And so they're fearful. But recognizing when you become angry or frustrated, recognizing that, being able to take a break and step back and just take that deep breath. Understanding that sometimes you may feel helpless, that you may feel that you're not doing everything that you're supposed to do. Loneliness, thinking about if it's just a single mom and her child in the home, recognizing that loneliness is normal. It's nothing that is abnormal. Depression can set in, because especially if you're used to being around other people, feeling some depression. And then also understanding that there may be a temptation to do some things to help cope, such as maybe drinking a little bit more or doing some other type of self-medicating to get through, and just recognizing that you need to be aware of that and not doing all of that. You want to make sure you set yourself up for success, understanding that you don't understand all of those math problems, and that's okay. It's okay if you're not able to help your child with all of those math problems or all of those science questions. Reach out to the teacher, because that's not what our profession is. We're not professional teachers. So reaching out to them. And then sometimes if you're upset or you're anxious because you can't get it, they can't get it, take a break. Take a break and step away and do something fun, and then come back to it. Understand that you're human and that your child, that this is something different for you and your child. Exercise. Make sure you get plenty of exercise. My family and my extended family and I had a Zoom family reunion on Sunday at 3 o'clock, and we're going to do it again this coming Sunday. We had the best time. We laughed, we talked, we were talking all over each half of somebody's face because their older members in the family didn't know what was going on. But it was so wonderful. After we finished, making sure you stay connected with people. Also, I tell families to maintain that proper hygiene. Make sure your kids are washing their hands, making sure that when they get up, you have that routine. Take that shower. Make sure they brush their teeth, comb their hair as if they're going somewhere. It makes you feel better. Making sure that you have a routine. Your routine may not be the same routine that you have when the kids are going to school, but make sure it is a routine. So that means if your kids get up at 9 o'clock right now, they go to bed at 9 or 10, making sure you stick with that routine, because it helps with consistency. And kids need routine and discipline. Discipline not meaning punishment, but meaning a structure that parents provide for them. I also tell parents to make sure that you stay calm and reassuring. Reassure your children, because many times they see things on the news, Facebook. Their friends may tell them something. They may stereotype different races, ethnicities, to make sure that COVID doesn't look at any one race or ethnicity. COVID is not biased at all. It will attack anyone. Um, Talk to your family, look for support. There are so many activities out there now, and I had a list of things, and you can always find these. But cooking is wonderful. Kids as young as 2 years old can help cook. One of the things that you can do with those young children is you can help them, get them to wash the vegetables. They love that. Let them taste them as they're watching them. Them being involved in cooking actually makes them more prone to try new things. So if you're washing those grapes and they probably have never didn't like grapes before, or strawberries, oh wow, strawberries, where did they come from? Stirring cookie mix, that type thing. Don't worry about them making a mess. You can take care of that later. Help them stir. There are virtual zoos online now. San Diego Zoo and Monterey Bay Aquarium. They have a virtual tour now. Cincinnati Zoo has a virtual tour on their Facebook page. Cooking, drawing, write a book together. Paint. Get a side of the room where you can let them make their own little drawing. Hey, don't worry about it. Let's not worry about that. Sidewalk chalk, a scavenger hunt in the backyard. Can you imagine how fun that would be? You can still go outside and play ball, kick the ball. You can still have a picnic. There are so many things that you can still do with your children to help relieve the stress, but also while practicing social distancing. But there are just too many things out there that you can do. So I tell parents, patience, no matter what age your child is, patience, patience, patience.
I think be
I
forgiving
mean,
with yourself too. That's something I've talked with a couple of my friends about recently because they're like, it's not going well. And I'm like, it shouldn't be going well. Like, this isn't a situation where you should excel. This is a situation where we're all just trying to get by. But don't let the not going well get in the way of you still having a routine and still trying to have some sense of normalcy because the kids crave that. And I think the other thing, and I told one of my friends this yesterday, it is totally okay if you have a fenced in backyard and your kids are old enough to dump them outside for a couple hours and be like, I will be inside. Don't hurt yourself. See you later. It's okay to put them in a different room and say, I'm going to be in this other room for a minute. You take your time. You get a couple minutes for yourself because I think we think that we have to be there to entertain them every single second. And that's not fair to you, too. You need time where you are just taking a few minutes to be you.
Oh yeah, I definitely take advantage of a few of those moments when I have the opportunity to get them. Well, ladies, thank you all so much for everything today. I think that we're going to have a lot of people out there who are going to be really interested in learning more about you and what you're doing and checking in. I know you told us earlier that you all are creating some resources, some short videos, more tips and tricks and stuff like that. I'm assuming those will be able to be found on your website. Is that correct?
Yes,
And
and
we'll
on
all
our social media. Yep.
Perfect. And we'll also do our best to share them through the United Way's social media and website and everything too. Do you all have anything else that you would like to say that you feel like needs to get out there? Any last words before we wrap up? And I'll let you all continue doing your amazing work on this beautiful Friday.
just parents, be patient.
Yep.
We will get through this. Um, and just be patient and just love your kids.
And I would say that we really appreciate the support of the United Way, and several of the programs that we have are possible because of the United Way. And so we appreciate that you guys are helping us being able to support families in the community.
Is there anything that community members can be doing right now to help you all? Do you have any donation needs? Are there anything that your parents are needing right now? Any baskets or boxes that you're putting together?
I'm going to be honest. We are always just open that door. Okay, we are always in need of items for our families because actually at this time, if a family needs something, we actually will take it to them and drop it off at the porch. Um, we're always in need of items, baby items, books, coloring books, books for the kids to read, sidewalk chalk, anything like that that can help the families get through would be wonderful. But I mean, even if it's some canned goods, perishable, non-perishable items, things like that. Elizabeth, can you think of anything else?
Well, I think the other thing is we're seeing a lot more need in families right now because employment is not as steady. People are really struggling, and we get them connected to any community resources that are available, like food banks and things like that. But there still are things that they're not able to get. So both, gift cards that we would be able to use for groceries for families. But to be honest, the thing that helps us the most is monetary donations. And I promise I can turn a nickel into $20. Karen's going to nod along here. We are,
Oh, yes.
yeah, we are good stewards of your money. And in fact, if the staff had to tell you my most often said quote, it would be, "What do we own Duke Energy? Who left all the lights on in here?" And so we really do make sure that we take good care of the money that people are generous to give us. So.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Keep fighting that good fight, and thank you so much for everything. We will get this video out there soon, and I hope to talk to you all again before too long.